This is BBC News. I'm Regini Vaidyanathan. We'll bring you some breaking news that's just come into us from police in Surrey. And Billy Smith, the 35-year-old prisoner who was mistakenly released from Wandsworth Prison earlier in the week, has handed himself back in. Surrey Police has just posted on its Facebook page saying, "We're cancelling our appeal to help find a wanted 35-year-old William Smith, who was released in error from HMP Wandsworth on Monday, the 3rd of November. The statement goes on to say, Smith handed himself into HMP Wandsworth today. That is, of course, the 6th of November. It ends by saying, "We thank everyone who shared our appeal, and we now ask that any posts or photos are removed." Now, of course, William, or Billy Smith as he's also known, was one of two men who was mistakenly released from prison on Monday. The other man, Algerian sex offender Brahim Kaddour-Cherif, remains on the run still as well. But significantly, one of the two men mistakenly released on Monday, William Smith, Billy Smith, also known as, has turned himself in. Now, he was serving, or he'd been sentenced for 4 years for multiple counts of fraud. Some reports there, not confirmed at the moment by us, saying that he turned up at the prison and said, "I am the prisoner they are looking for." But that statement from Surrey Police does say that he turned himself in. And there are some images appearing online as well, which appear to show Billy Smith being photographed as he handed himself in to the police station, wearing blue and smoking a cigarette. We'll hopefully be able to bring you those pictures. But if you're just joining us here on BBC News, some significant breaking news from here in the UK, and that is one of two prisoners who was mistakenly released earlier in the week, sparking a large manhunt, has handed himself in. I'll just remind you of the details on that. It's William, also known as Billy Smith, who was mistakenly released earlier in the week. He was sentenced to 4 years on counts of multiple fraud earlier in the week, and we are hearing that he has now handed himself in. Surrey Police has confirmed that. Now, there were reports, of course, that one of the reasons why he was mistakenly released was because his co-defendant had the same surname, Smith, and there was a mix-up. But of course, this has raised a lot of questions about prisoners being released early by mistake, and we know that the Prisons Minister has summoned prison governors in England and Wales for a meeting to try and get some answers on this. Justice Minister, I should say, Alex Davies-Jones, conceding that the issues in prisons in England and Wales won't be fixed overnight. Been a lot of criticism about the early release from the Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick, saying that the situation was an utter shambles, but some commentators pointing out that even under the previous Conservative government, prisoners were released early. All of this, of course, has put a lot of pressure on the Deputy Prime Minister and the Justice Secretary, David Lammy, after he had promised to put in extra checks to prevent similar cases of early release after the early release of Hadoush Kabatu, who was released from Chelmsford Jail earlier in the week. He's now, of course, been deported. But just another reminder of that breaking news. The man on the screen there is Billy William Smith, who has handed himself into police after a manhunt. He was mistakenly released earlier in the week. He was sentenced to 4 years for multiple fraud. A statement there from Surrey Police. I'll just bring it to you once more. It says, "We are cancelling our appeal to help find wanted 35-year-old William Smith, who was released in error from HMP Wandsworth on Monday, the 3rd of November. The statement goes on to say that Smith handed himself into HMP Wandsworth today, the 6th of November, and it thanks everyone who shared the appeal. And there's some reports online that appear to show a picture of him outside the prison wearing what looks like a blue fleece and blue tracksuit bottoms, handing himself in. and according to reports that are unconfirmed at the moment, he turned up at the prison. He was dropped off in a van and said, "I am the prisoner they are looking for." And reports say that he handed himself shortly after 10:30 in the morning. We'll have more on that breaking story when we get it. But one of the two prisoners who was the subject of a police manhunt here in the UK has turned himself in.